Today, young aspiring photographers now have access to a new, powerful networking tool allowing people from all over the world to see their work. This network is Instagram. There is a huge contrast of styles ranging from the controlled atmosphere of studio portraiture to the unpredictable environment of the real world for adventure photography.
Hi, my name is Liam. I just got accepted into the Bachelor of Fine Arts program for photography. I started in a high school digital photography class with a point and shoot. Kind of got hooked after that, and then bought my first DSLR. So I shoot with a Nikon D3200. Portraiture, I'd stick to the 50mm lens. After that, I start setting up the lights, which would be one softbox right here, and then I have the speed light off to the left here, or off to the right, and then I have one kick light set up in the back here. I generally stick to 3 lights unless I'm doing maybe a darker sort of portrait, and then I just use the softbox, so just the one speed light. Smaller equipment we have here is the Pocket Wizards, which sync up the camera to the flashes. Generally use a filter, which is just a small piece of plastic, to add color to the background. That's about all the equipment I use for the most part. If I had to choose whether to shoot in a studio or outdoors, I definitely choose studio. More control over the lighting and more dramatic lighting. Tips for shooting portraits of people: be personable. Definitely smile a lot. Have an outgoing personality, definitely helps. People, if you're uncomfortable behind the camera, people are going to be uncomfortable on the other side. So getting models comfortable in front of the camera takes a minute. It's different with everyone. To start, I let them choose what kind of music they listen to during the photo shoot. I get to know them a little bit before the shoot, whether it's over a coffee or lunch, just to get them more comfortable around me and then in front of the camera. My most memorable shoot was one I had done with a nude model. And I got this girl in here. She was in one of my classes, and I'd never shot with her before. She'd never had photos taken of her. And I'm looking at the computer screen, and she's behind me. Turn around, and it was over. She had fully stripped. It was startling, but it turned out to be a great shoot. To have her just drop like that, I was very impressed. I'm a nude model myself, so I learned. I think I started doing nude modeling to get more comfortable behind and in front of the camera. So when I was shooting a nude model, I knew what situation they were in. And when they know that I've done it myself, it's easier for them to kind of go about it. Instagram's a huge part of my photography. And it's where you get noticed or seen by other people. It's really a way of getting your name and your work out there for thousands of people to see. As far as portfolio goes, I would say Instagram's a pretty good indicator as far as portfolio goes. I have all sorts of different works, from street photography to studio portraits, so it's a good place to start. Definitely communicating with bigger accounts helps. Anything with 10,000 plus followers definitely networks, and you get in contact with more people from then. So my plan for photography in the near future, within the next couple of years or so, I'd like to be working in a studio, either under a professional photographer in a studio of my own. I'd love to own my own studio and kind of shoot portraits and do some fine artwork. That would be awesome.
Photography drives me to get out there and meet new people and see new things, something I've always liked to do but never had the creative outlet to inspire that.
My name is Steve Spontak. I'm a digital media production major at SUNY New Paltz, and I'm also an aspiring photographer. The first time I really got into photography was about a year ago. I took my mom's camera and went up to this hilltop where you can see the sunset for miles in all directions. And me and my friends kind of just messed around with it, and we ended up coming up with a couple cool shots that I was super proud of. And it just really made me love photography, and ever since then it's just been kind of a huge passion of mine. So for the camera that I use currently, it's a Panasonic Lumix G7. It's actually supposed to be better for video, but since I'm kind of doing a mix of both, I thought, why not get this? Because it's pretty cheap. It was only several $100s. So there's this one spot where I've been to pretty frequently with my friends. It's really cool. It's like a big abandoned kind of warehouse. I don't really know what its original use was, but I saw one of my photography friends on Instagram posted a photo from there. I was like, yo, where is that? That looks super cool. He told me, I checked it out, and that's kind of been like my go-to spot for like abandoned themed photos. And I've just done so much there that it's really like a staple pretty much of my photography experience. So like the first like business kind of thing I actually did was with this local sunglasses company called Exotic Eyewear, where they approached me and said they really like what I'm doing and they want me to take some summer kind of advertisement themed stuff with sunsets in the background. And I knew immediately the perfect sunset spot from before when I started up on that hilltop, and me and my friends went there. We took some photos, and now their photos, or my photos, are on their website, which is pretty cool. Social media has really been like an important part of the whole photography aspect for me, because it allows me to like meet and link up with so many different people, just either if they want to be in photos or just want to work with photos with me. And I've just met so many different people because of that, and it's really cool how something like photography based can cause you to meet a whole bunch of different people and build relationships and stuff with them. Instagram has really been like a key part of the whole photography thing for me, because just being able to post a photo that you're really proud of and then seeing how other people react to it is really motivating, especially, you know, when you get those likes coming in, you're really like, wow, I did something that other people appreciate. And it's just something that motivates me, and especially just being able to look back to and have Instagram specifically as like kind of like a photo album of all my past work is really cool, because sometimes, you know, I just go back and be like, oh, I remember taking that photo, and it just brings back a whole memory for me, and it's really cool. So on Instagram, I've really like kind of studied, I guess you could say, how to really push your photo out there for free, because obviously you can pay for advertisement time with Instagram, but I don't really want to do something like that. So there's something called hashtags that you can really take advantage of. And there's select hashtags that you want to include in your in the caption of your photographs on Instagram to really push your photo out to as many people as possible. So what I found is really popular at the moment is travel related hashtags, because a lot of people are looking for those travel photos because it's a way for them to experience a place that they would want to travel to without actually being there. So I know it's kind of cheating, I guess you could say, by putting travel hashtags on a photo that is just, for example, a portrait of someone standing in front of like this wall, for example. But it's going to get your photo out there, and people are going to see it, and they might be like, oh, well, I like this, and they could start following you based on that. So it's kind of a game you got to play within the little caption section of Instagrams with these hashtags. So a lot of people don't realize what goes into a shot, like behind the camera pretty much. For example, with my smoke bomb stuff, the smoke bombs are actually pretty expensive. They get upwards of like $15 to $20 sometimes for the amount of smoke that you want to produce. So, you know, there is an expense that comes with stuff like this, but it's definitely worth it when you get the shots that you want. But something else that people don't really realize, especially when they're getting into photography, is how much you really want to think before you take the shot. So many people now in this digital age are just firing off shots as much as possible, but you really want to take the time and think about what is going to look best before you take the shot, essentially. So something that I see a lot of people not doing, but you really should think about doing, is like getting higher or getting lower. You definitely don't want to keep shooting at like head height, because that's going to get repetitive. And I know you could still get amazing shots from the head height, but sometimes getting low to the ground or raising it up higher and manipulating your scenery around you by doing that is something that's really going to achieve an effect that you wouldn't be able to get just by taking the photo at head height, because that's how everybody else sees the world, from this same height. So Instagram's really like kind of like the casual portfolio of mine, where like if it's someone that I want to work with casually, I'm going to show them that. I'm going to, you know, follow them on there, kind of use that as like starting ground. But someone that really wants to like work with me on something important, I have actually a portfolio website on 500pixels.com. Short-term plan for me for photography basically is just to try new things, you know, especially with summer coming up. I want to really expand on what I've been doing, just because I'm going to have so much free time. And long term, I feel like if I could turn this into a job, I would absolutely love to. But I try not to think too far in the long term for something that I just do for fun, because then I don't really want to take away the fun from it, making it seem like I'm actively working for it as a job. But if something like that pops up, I'll definitely take that opportunity. All right, so one of my favorite things to do here is to light these smoke bombs I got from a local paintball store. It allows you to get some insane photos, especially with the holes in the ceiling and stuff. It allows light to peek through, and you can get some really cool light ray effects that you see in like your most popular movies and stuff like that. So yeah, we're about to light one off and see what we can get with it. So me and my friend one time were just trying to think of something cool to do. We had already experimented with the smoke bombs and stuff like that, and we wanted to do something else cool. So we kind of figured out and did some research online about this cool thing where you light steel wool inside of a whisk, just a regular kitchen whisk, tie a string to it, light it, and spin it around, and it's going to fling sparks everywhere. And you can get some really cool long exposures and stuff like that. So we tried that one time, and we got some amazing results. And since then we've tried it in so many different other places, like inside an abandoned warehouse, so you can see the light kind of just splashing off of the graffitied walls and stuff like that. It's really cool, and that's something that I like to do. I just like to keep experimenting, trying new things, because you really never know what you're going to get out of it. So actually, funny story, I was on a little photography adventure with a couple of my friends by a rail track, which we thought was abandoned at first, but then all of a sudden the train was coming, and we were like, wow, we can get some cool photos of like the trains going right past us. Like, this was in the middle of the woods somewhere. And we were just sitting on the side of the trail, or the track, waiting for a train to come by, and the train was like honking crazy. Like, they did not like us being there. We were getting some really cool photos, and before you know it, the train is gone, but this truck is driving towards us. So we're like, oh crap, we got to get out of here. We can't be here. So we started booking it through the woods, just running through marshland. We got away from them, but it was quite a little exhilarating adventure, having to just run through the woods, hoping that we wouldn't get in trouble for just trying to take some cool photos. So definitely when like someone looks at my Instagram page and sees my photos, the first thing I want them to think is just keep like trying new things, because my photos are so all over the place. I know some people try to stick to a specific theme, and that works perfectly, but I do so many different things, and my Instagram is just completely, I guess you could say, mixed up with a whole different bunch of themes mixed together. The first thing that I want people to see is just how much stuff that I try, how open I am to trying new things, and how much they should be open to trying new things, because it's a great opportunity for you to just try something that you've never done before and see what kind of results you can get, and that's really what I love about photography.